premise. We must ever keep in mind the inspired words of Thomas Jefferson as found in the Declaration of Independence when he said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. I believe in liberty, period, not comma. I believe in good government, period, not question mark. But one which is accountable to its citizens and bound by principles. And ultimately, I believe in freedom from intrusive and all-reaching, overbearing government, whether it be an abusive federal, state, or local government, or HOA. Obviously, the closer we can get these decisions, the better, but I don't care if the obstruction to my rights are from a federal, state, or local level. As I look over our federal mess of $15 trillion in deficit and nearly $70 trillion in unfunded liabilities, by 2020, nearly 50% of our GDP will go, or not GDP, of our federal budget will go just to paying the interest on our debt. States now more than ever are reinforcing their 10th Amendment rights to say that we want to insulate ourselves from these issues. It will mean there's a lot of things that we can do here as Utahns to insulate ourselves from this. It will mean not raising taxes on a bled turnip. It will mean maintaining competitive schools which produce through innovative thinking and parental and community support. It will mean not increasing taxes on the productive business sectors of society and to redistribute to the unproductive sectors. It will mean creating a business environment attractive to those throughout the country to come to Utah due to our highly productive and educated workforce and our unencumbersome regulations. It will mean in a time of decreasing home values, decreasing sales tax revenues, and decreasing income tax revenues for the state, that we avoid the temptation to further tax and instead tighten the belt and strategically cut programs, albeit with a scalpel and not a chainsaw. The general, who knows who the General Fabian is from Roman lore? Fabian? Anybody? How about Hannibal? Hannibal was probably the most amazing general in ancient times. He went into Rome through the Alps with elephants from ancient Tunisia. Came down and caused all kinds of havoc for years in ancient Italy and knocked on the doors of Rome, it said. So how did he end up getting defeated? The most amazing general in history. It was what you call a war of attrition. And this war of attrition was masterminded by this general named General Fabian, or Fabius. In the early 20th century, a group in England came up with the idea, we're going to create a society called the Fabian Society. And the Fabian Society was in contrast to the Bolsheviks in Russia. The Bolsheviks in Russia said, let's just socialize the whole thing, wham, bam, revolution, we're there. The Fabians were more the intellectuals, the academia, the Bertrand Russells and things. They said, you know what, this idea of total socialism is a great idea, but we need to do it incrementally. It can't be done. The West isn't ready for a revolution. So likewise, as these Fabian socialists, as they're called, have incrementally socialized our Western society, I think it's important that we start to incrementally give more liberty and freedom to our society. The horse that I ride on tonight isn't a famous horse. It's kind of a little pony that I'm riding on, and I don't have any famous in-laws. I don't have any major accolades or achievements that I can mark down, a trophy that I can point to. My wife, my wife got all the good looks in the family. And probably the biggest thing that happens to me on a daily basis is just coming home and seeing my kids. The horse I do ride on, however, is the philosophical equivalent to War Admiral. And for those who aren't familiar with equine history, War Admiral was unbeatable. So for maybe the younger generation, we'll say Seabiscuit. So I write in on a philosophical equivalent of Seabiscuit. It's the unbeatable, the unshakable, the most productive, and equality of rights driven philosophy of free markets, individual accountability, limited government, and the rights of individuals. Great thinkers such as Bastiat, Locke, Rousseau, Paine, Jefferson, Friedman, Hayek, von Mises, those are the people whose shoulders I ride on. In ancient Rome, I like ancient Rome. Ancient Rome, they used to have urns, and there are these big urns that carried olive oil, and olives, and grapes, and wine. Big, if you ever go to the museums, they have these big urns. And the urns were a huge part of society as far as transporting goods and things. And shopkeepers, who were kind of savvy, started putting wax inside these urns. And for lower quality urns, they would put wax inside of them. And people would buy them, and for a month or so, they held all the wine, and they didn't leak, and they seemed good. But after a month, they started kind of leaking, because the wax would rub off. And so the shopkeepers that really produced a high quality vase or urn said, this isn't right, you know? I'm going to put out in front of my shop a phrase that for me sums up a lot. And it's sin, which means, for those who speak Spanish, what does sin mean?
Without.
Without. And chera. Jacob, what does chera mean? Chera. Wax. So without wax, they put out there sin chera, without wax. Thus the word sincere. Now, I hold these beliefs that I have not on my shirt sleeve, or a quick catchy slogan that, oh, this is going to get me elected or something. But in my heart, it's a paradigm for me and not a catchphrase. Currently, we have a legislator in our area who is an extremely nice woman. Beautiful family, nicest lady can be. She's involved in the community, and no one can speak ill will of her. However, she doesn't share the same beliefs in what constitutes good government for me. After much contemplation, thought, and prayer, I've decided to enter into the race to become legislator for District 20. Because as Victor Hugo said, no army, no navy, no emperor, no anything can stop an idea whose time has come. And the time for liberty and limited government's time has come. So let's do this.